Assalamu alaikum and have a nice day, all of you. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. Myself Nisamuddin from Kaligaon. Now I am pursuing my B.Ed course from Aligarh Muslim University, Malappuram Center. Now I am very happy to be with you. Inshallah, I'll be sharing with you something from your English textbook. So once again, I share my thanks to all of you. And how are you all? I hope you all are fine and happy and healthy in this pandemic time, especially all of us. We are all locked in our homes because of COVID-19. Inshallah, we will be discussing the fourth chapter of the third unit, that is India's Maritime Meanders. I hope you all will cooperate and help. Then let's move to our lesson, that is India's Maritime Meanders. Before moving to chapter, I would like to ask you one question, that is, you know the Indian Army? Yes, Indian Army. Yeah. How many forces are there in Indian Army? Definitely there are three major forces are there in Indian Army. Am I correct? So one of the major part of Indian Army is Indian Navy. Okay, that's we are going to discuss in this lesson. Here we can see there are three main characters in this lesson. First one is, from the very beginning we can see the name of Aman, who is a boy, who is a school boy like you, and his uncle and Navy officer Uncle Vikrant and Uncle Vikrant's friend Naren. These are the three main characters in this lesson. So before starting the lesson, I would like to read the chapter for the first time. So all of you, please close the textbook and listen carefully how I am reading. Okay, listen. Unit number 3, Courage and Heroism. Chapter 4, India's Maritime Meanders. Warm up. Read the names of these awards. Do you know on whom these awards are bestowed and why? Paramveer Chakra, Ashok Chakra, Veer Chakra, Kirti Chakra, Vayu Sena Medal, and last and final one, Nav Sena Medal. Reading. Let's read about the Indian Navy, the naval branch of the armed forces. The President of India serves as the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces and Chief of the Naval Staff heads the Indian Navy. Aman was on tenterhooks since morning and found it difficult to concentrate on his lessons. He could not even enjoy the game of cricket that the senior boys played against the team of a neighboring school and won hands down. He was longing to get home and talk to his Uncle Vikrant, who was home on a short holiday. Uncle Vikrant served in the Indian Navy, and he always regaled Aman and his friends with stories of his voyages and interesting experiences. Joyous anticipation of the stories that awaited him gave wings to Aman's feet, and he rushed home as soon as school was over. Aren't you listening? Okay, then please. Uncle Vikrant was in the veranda sipping a cup of tea and chatting leisurely with a friend of his when Aman reached his house. He smiled cheerfully at him and said, Not playing football this evening? Aman shook his head vehemently. No, you promised me that you would tell me all about your work, and you can't back out now. I don't mean to, said Uncle Vikrant. My friend Naren, pointing to his friend who also works with me and is posted on the same ship, and I will answer all your questions and tell you all that you wish to know. Okay, listen. Before starting, once again, I would like to ask you one question. To whom these awards are given? You know these awards? You ever heard the names of these awards? Do you ever see these awards any newspaper or any television newses? No? Okay, somebody may be knowing or somebody may not be knowing. So here now in the very beginning, I would like to give a small assignment that you have to find out these awards, to whom these awards are given. Okay, I hope you all will do this very well. So it's very easy for you to find out these awards, to whom these awards are given. Okay, then now all of you please open your book, then listen me. For understanding, I can say that these awards are given to the armed forces, the officers of armed forces, in several categories. Okay, so for each and every one you have to find out to whom this Paramveer Chakra is given, and to whom Ashok Chakra is given, to whom Veer Chakra, and like that all these awards are given to whom. In the reading part, let's read about the Indian Navy, the naval branch of the armed forces. The President of India serves as the Supreme Commander of the armed forces, and the Chief of the Naval Staff heads the Indian Navy. Let's read about Indian Navy, the naval branch of armed forces. In the very beginning, I mentioned you that there are several categories of Indian Army. One is Air Force, and second one is Naval Force. Yes, of course it is Indian Army. What are the three types? Once again I will repeat. Indian Army is three categories are there. First one is Indian Army. It is normal army. Second one is Indian Navy Force, and third one is Indian Air Force. These are the three major categories of Indian Army. Okay, I think you got it. Let's read about the Indian Navy, the naval branch of the armed force. The armed force is three categories. One of the major among these is Naval Force. The President of India serves as the Supreme Commander of the armed forces, and the Chief of the Naval Staff heads an Indian Navy. The President of India. We know we have a President of India. He is the first citizen of India. He is the Chief Commanding Officer, Supreme Commander of the armed forces. He is the Supreme Commander of these three forces. Which are these three forces? Yes, first one is Indian Army, Indian Navy, and Indian Air Force. Then President of India is the Supreme Commander of these three forces. Not only these three forces, and the Chief of the Naval Staff heads. President of India is the head of these three heads. So let's start our lesson. Ahmed was on tender hooks since morning and found it difficult to concentrate on his lesson. Tender hook. What is the meaning of tender hook? Yeah, it is worried or nervous. Ahmed was on tender hooks. Aman was very worried or nervous since morning. From the very morning he reached school and found it difficult to concentrate on his lesson. He was unable to concentrate on his lessons, what his teachers teaching. He was very difficult to concentrate on his lessons. He could not even enjoy the game of cricket that the senior boys played against the team of neighboring school. On the same day, there was a cricket match between Aman's school and one of his neighboring school. His senior boys were playing against this neighboring school, and they won the match. Even Aman was not interested in listening that match and enjoying that victory. He was nervous, and why? Because we will get the answer. He was longing to get home and talk to his uncle Vikrant, who was home on a short holiday. Uncle Vikrant served the Indian Navy, and he always regaled Aman and his friends. Listen, he was longing to get home. He was very much interested to go back home very soon. He wants to talk with his uncle Vikrant, who was home on a short holiday. His uncle Vikrant was at home for a short holiday. For a very short holiday, he was there in his home. So Aman is very eager to talk with his uncle. Uncle Vikrant served Indian Navy, and he always regaled Aman and his friends with stories of his voyages and interesting experiences. Why Aman was very much eager to go home very soon? Because the uncle who served as an Indian Navy officer, he always regaled Aman and his friends. What is the meaning of regale? Yeah, regale means entertain with stories. Entertain with stories. He was always regaled Aman. So this uncle Vikrant always regale, entertain Aman, കഥ പറഞ്ഞ് രസിപ്പിക്കുമായിരുന്നു Aman and his friends with stories of his voyages. What is the meaning of voyage? Anyone of you know? Yes, voyage means long journey, especially by ships. It is voyage. If you are not familiar with these words, you may take down and write down on your notebook. Uncle Vikrant regaled Aman and his friends with stories of his voyages and interesting experiences. This uncle has lots of very interesting experiences and stories. That stories where he was sharing with Aman and his friends. That is why Aman was very much eager, very much nervous to go home from the school. Yeah. Joyous anticipation of the stories that awaited him gave wings to Aman's feet, and he rushed home as soon as school was over. Joyous anticipation. What is the meaning of anticipation? Feeling of excitement. Feeling of excitement about something is going to happen. Yeah. Joyous anticipation. Very interesting anticipation or feeling of excitement about something, of the stories that awaited him. That stories is waiting for him at home. Yeah, he is very much eager to hear the stories from his uncle. That is why here it says stories that awaited him. Yes, that is joyous anticipation of the stories that awaited him gave wings to Aman's feet, and he rushed home as soon as the school was over. You got it? Yeah. Then listen the next paragraph. Should I read it once again? No, in this online session there is no need of reading repeatedly. You can many times you can repeatedly hear this from my lesson. So I think no need to repeat again and again. If you have any queries, doubts, you may ask any time in my WhatsApp number. Okay, then next paragraph. Uncle Vikrant was in the veranda sipping a cup of tea and chatting leisurely with a friend of his when Aman reached his house. Uncle Vikrant was in veranda. When Aman reached his home, Uncle Vikrant was there in the veranda sipping a cup of tea and chatting leisurely with a friend of his when Aman reached his house. What was Uncle Vikrant doing when Aman reached his home? Yes, he was chatting with his friend and sipping a cup of tea in the veranda when Aman reached home. He smiled cheerfully. When Aman reached home, Uncle Vikrant smiled cheerfully towards Aman and said, "Not playing football this evening? Don't you play football this evening?" Uncle Vikrant asked Aman, "Don't you play football this evening?" Aman shook his head vehemently. What is the meaning of vehemently? In a strong and emotional way. "No, you promised me that you would tell me all about your work and you can't back out now. You promised me to share your experiences, the stories of Navy, so you can't be back now." Aman replied to his uncle. "I don't mean to," said Uncle Vikrant. "My friend Naren." "Hey, it's not me. Maybe, possibly my friend Naren. He will explain all the stories," pointing to his friend Naren. He was pointing to his friend Naren and saying, "I don't mean to. My friend Naren, he will explain you." Okay. Mr. Naren is working with me. He is appointed in the same ship I am working. And I will answer all your questions and tell you all that you wish to know. So you don't worry, I will answer. Tell me, what do you want to know? What do you wish to know? I will answer all your questions. Then the main responsibility of the Navy is to protect the coastline so that enemies don't target us, isn't it? Asked Aman. Then Aman asked a question to his uncle. The main responsibility of the Navy is to protect the coastline so that enemies don't target us, isn't it? Uncle nodded and said, "You know, Aman, our country has abundant ocean wealth comprising a large number of islands, territories. Over 1 lakh ships pass through the international shipping lanes of this region every year. About 1,000 million tons of oil is shipped annually around the world from the oil wells of the Persian Gulf through the waters close to India. Our country has abundant ocean wealth." Amen. You know, our country has abundant ocean wealth. More than enough. Abundant means more than enough, comprising a large number of islands, territories, which include our ocean wealth comprises or includes what? A large number of island territories. You know island? Yeah, many islands we have, just like Lakshadweep and Andaman Nicobar Deeps. These are some islands of our country. So, comprising a large number of island territories, our country has abundant ocean wealth. Abundant means more than enough. Yatheshtam, avashathiladhikam. Over 1 lakh ships pass through the international shipping lanes of this region every year. For each and every year, more than 1 lakh ships are passing through these lanes, through the international shipping lanes of our country. About 1,000 million tons of oil is shipped annually around the world from the oil wells of the Persian Gulf through the waters close to India. About 1,000 million tons of oils. 1,000 million tons of oil is shipped annually. Annually means for every year. Every year, more than about or approximately 1,000 million tons of oil is shipped annually around the world from the oil wells of Persian Gulf through the waters close to India. You got it? Yeah. So that's why he told in the beginning, we have abundant ocean wealth. You understand? Yes. Listen. Then next paragraph. And not only that, said uncle's friend Naren, fishing, seafood industry, oil and gas from offshore oil rigs, salt, pearls, minerals from the seabed, and tidal electricity generation are other benefits that we derive from the seas and oceans. So we are entrusted with the responsibility of protecting not only the coastline but also the plentiful natural resources that we have. Besides this, the Indian Navy is also a catalyst for peace, tranquility and stability. It also provides succor to smaller nations when these nations are in need of humanitarian assistance and relief from natural calamities such as tsunamis, floods and cyclones. Listen, and now the friend of Uncle Vikrant, Naren, is trying to add something. What? And not only that, Uncle Vikrant told that we have an abundant ocean wealth comprising number of island territories. In addition to that, Mr. Naren adds that there are fishing. We have fishing, seafood industry, oil and gas from offshore oil rigs. You know what is offshore oil rigs? Offshore means away from the coast. തീരത്തുനിന്ന് വളരെ അകലെയുള്ള. Oil rigs means a large structure that is used for removing oil or gas from the sea. Offshore oils and gas from offshore oil rigs, salt, and pearls. There are lots of pearls, you may be knowing. Minerals from the seabed and tidal electricity. Minerals means some valuable chemical substances, and minerals from the seabed. Seabed means what? Yes, this is a solid surface of the earth that lies under the ocean. Solid surface of the ocean lies under the water. From where these minerals are, we get these minerals. So minerals from seabed and tidal electricity generation are other benefits that we derive from the seas and oceans. Now here what is happening? Here Mr. Naren, the friend of Vikram, adding something, the benefits of ocean, he explains to our Aman. So we are entrusted with the responsibility of protecting. So we the people of Navy officers are entrusted to protecting the coastal area, not only the coastline but also the plentiful natural resources. These all benefits we are getting from the ocean. So we are entrusted to protect these natural resources also, not only the coastline that we have. Besides this, the Indian Navy is also a catalyst for peace and tranquility and stability. There may be some clashes between neighboring countries, just like India and Pakistan. All we know that there is a clash between India and Pakistan. So to avoid these type of clashes between neighboring countries, the Indian Navy is also a catalyst. What is the meaning of catalyst? Yes, someone causes to change, that is meant by catalyst. Here what is the change? There should not be a riot between countries, neighboring countries. To avoid some clashes or riots between the countries, the Indian Navy is working as a catalyst for peace and tranquility. What is meant by tranquility? You can see in the bottom, tranquility means calm, for calm and quietness, and also stability. Yes, stability also, you may be knowing that a state of being, a situation of firm, fixed, there is no changes. It also provides a succor to smaller nations. This Indian Ocean is also provides a succor. Succor means support and help to smaller nations when these nations are in need of humanitarian assistance and relief from natural calamities such as tsunamis, floods and cyclones. Indian Navy provides help and support for the nations, for the smaller countries, small nations, when these nations are affected with natural calamities just like a tsunami and floods and cyclones. You got it? Inshallah, we are stopping here. We will continue the rest of the lesson next day. I hope you all understood well. So if you have any queries and doubts, please WhatsApp me. Most welcome you all are for asking your queries and doubts. Okay, thank you very much.